Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Well, I'm going to talk you out of it. Kind of. Stay with me here. In this video, I'm going to be explaining why now is not the time to buy a home. Like I said, kind of. So stay tuned to the end. I'm going to break down a few reasons why you may not be ready to purchase a home in today's market. However, I still want to give you some guidelines and pointers to think about so that way in the future, when you are ready, you know what to do to become a successful homeowner. If this is the first time you're checking out my channel, my name is Seanu Uyehara. I'm a branch manager with Loan Depot, helping you finance your homes all across the country. Whether you're a first-time home buyer looking to buy a vacation home or looking to build your real estate portfolio, I've got you covered. You can hit the description below for links to more information. And the main goal of my channel is to help you get your mortgage right. So if you need a second opinion, you can always send me an email with a purchase or refinance scenario, and I will give you my honest opinion as to whether or not you're getting a good deal or it's something that we can possibly help you with. Now, if you find any of these videos helpful, make sure to share the love with your friends and family and anyone that can benefit from all this information that I'm sharing with you guys today. Now, in today's video, like I said, we're going to be talking about why now is not the right time to buy a house, kind of. And I'm going to explain why later. So number one, if you do not have any patience and you are looking to make a quick buck off of real estate, this is not the market for you right now. I would definitely tell you to hold off and put those dreams on the sidelines unless you are an experienced house flipper or wholesaler, or you know exactly what you're doing, or maybe you're partnering with someone who's got a ton of experience. Because in some markets, we may consider this a declining market. Making a quick dollar in the real estate industry might be a little more challenging. And if you are inexperienced, you could easily buy your first house thinking you're gonna make money, and you could easily lose all your money at the same time. So I think if you're inexperienced, you should either partner with somebody or do a lot more due diligence and homework before you actually buy your first home. Now, along the lines of having patience in this market, I think if you're moving for job reasons or relocating for any reason whatsoever, in fact, you're just not sure if you're gonna like the city. I think that's also something to take into account because if you're moving, let's say you're moving here to Vegas, a lot of you have moved here and you may not like the heat. So if you bought a house now and let's just say the market did decline 10, 20%, you may not be in a position to sell your house maybe in a year from now, maybe in 6 months. You just hate it that much. Who knows? So I think if you are moving and you're unfamiliar with the city, I think maybe you might want to do a short-term rental first before you decide to buy, just because there's obviously nuances with any part of the country, whether it's the weather, whether it's the crime, whether it's the school districts, whether it's anything, even your job. There's so many things that can come up within a short amount of time that could deter you from buying, and maybe renting is a better idea right now. And number two, you are stretching your budget, or what we call being house poor, meaning you're working just to pay your mortgage. I think we all have felt the pinch of the recession, inflation, and all these terms that get thrown around every single day with groceries, everything becoming more and more expensive. Now, couple that with a housing payment, couple that with a rent payment. We've all seen rents skyrocket. Here in Las Vegas, we have no rent control. I've told you some of these horror stories that I hear with some of my clients. Rents have gone up of $500 a month, $1,000 a month. And now you still have to pay your bills and groceries and all that other stuff that comes along with adulting. So I think if your finances are not in tip-top shape, I think right now with the economy that we're facing, this may not be the right time for you to purchase a home. I will get my finances in place, whether that's putting together maybe a 6-month rainy day fund. So get really detailed with your budget. Take a look at all your credit card debt. Do you have credit card debt, or are you able to maybe pay some of them off? There's so many strategies that are out there these days that help you pay off your credit card debt faster and then start to build that nest egg. Maybe you don't have a nest egg. And again, there's strategies that I've even used to help save money automatically where I don't even think about it. And one of the ways I do that is I automatically sweep my checking account every week with a certain dollar amount that I want to put into a savings account. Now I physically don't have to go log into my account, transfer the funds, and find some reason maybe why I don't want to do it, whether I'm just being lazy at the moment or I get busy with work or shooting these videos for you guys, whatever it ends up being. Automate some of these practices so that way it becomes second nature, that you don't even really think about it. The next thing you know, when you go and look at your account, you might have a few $1,000s in there. I actually started doing this with my stock account, and little did I know I had accumulated several $1,000s in that account in a very short period of time. And honestly, I totally forgot that I was even doing that. So it's little hacks like that that can help you start to build that nest egg and even work to pay off your debt. Because the number one thing that you want to do is get yourself in a good financial position. You never want to be house poor. You never want to stretch yourself to buy the house simply because social media is telling you so, your friends and family are doing it, and you're getting a sense of FOMO or whatever it might be. You want to make sure you're buying the house because you want to buy the house, because it's your mortgage payment at the end of the day, and you are the one that will be impacted if you cannot afford to make the payment. So you need to make sure that you are good to go. Nobody else. Worry about your finances first. And number 3, if you need time to build up your credit, again, I would also work on doing that. So you might have, let's call it a 580 credit score. Could you technically buy a house today? Absolutely. FHA allows us to go to a 580 and only put 3.5% down. So you could certainly purchase a home today, but is that in your best interest again? Now the guidelines say yes, but what does your pocketbook tell you? What does your checking account tell you? What does your savings account tell you? Or even your employer? Now, all these other things we need to think about, because those are the things, in my opinion, that matter most. So again, if you have no savings, even though you could technically buy, is that the right decision? I would say no. And even if you're on your job, but you're not sure how long you're going to be there, maybe you're the low one on the totem pole, and who knows if there's a downturn in the economy, or maybe your company starts to have furloughs or layoffs. Are you going to be the one that's going to get laid off because maybe you're the newest guy there? All these other things are out of your control. So I think we have to couple that with point 2, is getting our finances in place, but also working on our credit. Credit determines so many things out there, right? Credit cards, your car insurance. I mean, they even check your credit when you buy a cell phone these days. There's so many things that get taken into account that maybe we're not even really cognizant about every single day until we actually need to do it. And credit is, I think, one of those things that is just kind of in the back of our head until someone asks you what's your credit score. And more often than not, a lot of us feel ashamed to even say what the score is. Right? We always round up. You know, you're at a 680 and you might tell someone, oh, I'm at a 700. And I hear this all the time when we do applications. But remember, your credit score is no reflection on you as an individual. It's literally a score that some algorithm out there is telling banks and lenders what your score is at the end of the day. And that's literally all it means. But work on the score. If you're into 500s, work to get to a 600. If you're at a low 600, work to get to a 650. If you're at a 650, work to get to a 700. Just set small milestones and goals for yourself, because that will pay off in the long run. Now, if you're at a 650 and you're thinking of buying, I would still, no matter what, suggest you running the numbers, because the numbers don't lie at the end of the day. Whether it's a 580, 650, 750 credit score, run the numbers, because you need to see how much money is it truly going to take you to purchase that home, and what does the monthly payment look like? What are closing costs that are involved? Do you qualify for a down payment assistance program? And is that even beneficial for you and your timeline? Some of these programs have overlays where you cannot sell or refinance within a certain period of time. And if you do refinance or sell within that window, you do pay a prorated amount back to the down payment assistance program. So there's all these factors that get weighed into the decision. So I don't think it's necessarily something to just say it's black and white, where if I have a 600 credit score, you shouldn't buy, because I've done hundreds, if not thousands, of loans for people with lower credit scores that have been extremely successful with their home purchases. They bought a house with maybe a 600 credit score, and then over time they built it up. They've got equity, they've made a lot more money, they get married. There's a lot of things that can happen to your life in the future that both you and I may not even think about today, but I do my best to make sure we think about all those things, so that way you can have the best game plan going forward if you're in the process of improving your credit score. And number 4, you don't have a stable job. If you don't have a stable job, this may not be the right decision to buy a house today. Now, maybe in the future, it's something you definitely want to look at. Set it as a goal. But if today you're at a new job and you're not sure maybe how stable the company is. Maybe you're in between jobs and you just picked up a job because you needed to create some income quickly. I think those are some of the reasons why I would probably hold off from buying. Or maybe you're thinking of getting a promotion and maybe you're moving to a new company. Those are some scenarios that we've actually dealt with some of our recent clients lately. But I think those are things, again, that you can ponder to think about. Where am I at with my job? How long have I been there? Do I see myself being here for the foreseeable future? Am I looking to maybe relocate, like I mentioned in my first point? Maybe you're looking to get a job in another part of the country, and buying a house here in Vegas may not make the most sense because you're moving to, call it Ohio, and maybe the housing prices are a third of what they are here and you get more bang for your buck. So all these things need to be discussed. All these things need to be taken into account. And honestly, I love having these conversations with any of you that reach out, because I love giving a game plan and just really talking about and honestly learning about your goals of what you want to do with your real estate goals and also for your family, because honestly, it gets me excited hearing that there's so many of you that are excited about real estate. Even though social media and the media might say that it's a bad time to buy, there's always a lot of you that see past it, and I commend all of you guys for that. And last but not least, you just have a sweetheart deal of a rent right now. What do I mean by that? Maybe you're renting a house from a coworker or a family member, and you know what? Your rent is just dirt cheap right now. You're paying like $500 for a whole house. And you know what? If that's you right now, maybe you need to buckle down and start saving that much more money. Because if you're in this position, I would say maybe you just need to take advantage of this for maybe the next 6 to 12 months. Start doubling up your savings and start getting really diligent about your credit, really diligent about setting a goal for yourself to purchase, because I actually shot a video about this of things you can do 6 months and even a year out before you buy a house. So if this is you, take advantage of the fact that you don't have really a rent payment at all. You're living almost for free. Start saving, set a budget for yourself to say, maybe in 6 months, I'm going to be ready to purchase, or maybe it's going to take you a year. Whatever that time frame is, make the most of today. Because if you don't, you do have to face the reality that at some point, your family member or whoever's giving you a deal on that house, they're going to want market rent, right? There's only so far that they're going to give you this deal for. Trust me, I'm a landlord myself, and I don't mind cutting deals here and there. But at some point, I bought that house as an investment, and I need to recoup my costs on the investment. So I wouldn't necessarily get complacent thinking that I'll be able to stay in this home forever with this sweetheart deal. Set a goal for yourself, set a deadline, take advantage of the situation that you're in so you can make the most of it and become a homeowner. Remember, there's a ton of resources that are out there, whether you click on the links below for links to more information on how to buy a house, how to refinance, or simply reaching out to me and my team, and I'd be happy to help you. You can always send me an email and I'd be happy to chat with you offline. And if you ever have any questions, don't forget you can comment below. I answer every single one of those comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.